for you, I swear. Hi, we're here. My name is Terry Dickerson, your host for today. From left to right in the studio with me, we have my beautiful, beautiful co-host, Gabi Lutz.
OMG, good morning.
Good morning, Gabi. Say hello to the people.
Good morning.
And we have our new newscaster today, Adriana Teles. Hello. So happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
We have our sportscaster, the one and only Alex Braun.
Good morning.
Good morning. And finally, we have our love Dr. Ian Love, segment host.
Good morning out there.
Beautiful. We have an amazing show for you today, as per usual, jam-packed with a lot of stuff every single day. So today we got Joe Biden's State of the Union, updates on the Turkey earthquake, and a special announcement about Montclair State University's commencement. But before we can get into all of that, we need to know our news update. Adriana, do you want to make your Buzz debut right now today?
I'm very excited and I would love to.
Take it away.
All right, I'm Adriana Teles and this is WMSC News. After the U.S. destroyed the suspected spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean on Saturday, China declined Washington's request for a secure call between Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and his counterpart, National Defense Minister Wei Feng. The aim of the call, it appears, was to ratchet down tensions and open further avenues for dialogue after the spy balloon saga in an effort to responsibly manage the relationship between the U.S. and the People's Republic of China, or PRC. In state news, last year, New Jersey recorded the first year-over-year decrease in fatal drug overdoses in at least a decade, state records have shown. Some 2,892 people are suspected to have died from drug use in 2022, according to the Office of the Chief State Medical Examiner, down from 3,124 the previous year. It's the first time the death toll dipped below 3,000 in 5 years. In local news, Patterson police officer Jerry Moravec was charged by state authorities for shooting unarmed 28-year-old Khalif Cooper in the back. For the weather, it is currently 34 degrees and sunny with a high of 50 degrees and about a 10% chance of rain. For the WMSC News, I'm Adriana Teles.
What a beautiful debut from Adriana Teles. Thank you so much.
Call her beep it if you want to reach her. The telephone.
The telephone's ringing, and I think it's sports on the line.
Sports! Yeah, we have great sports news today because in hockey, the New York Rangers will be facing the Vancouver Canucks tonight at 8 p.m. And the New Jersey Devils will be facing the Kraken, the Seattle Kraken, at 7 p.m. tomorrow. In basketball last night, not baseball. Baseball hasn't started yet. In basketball, the New York Knicks will beat the Orlando Magic 102-98, but the Brooklyn Nets cannot do the same, where in their game they lost 116-112 against the Phoenix Suns. And LeBron James, with 10.9 seconds left in the third quarter, James sank a setback jumper from the left elbow, scoring his 36th point of the game, making that 38,385th of his career, surpassing the record. Six-time NBA MVP Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had held that record for 39 years. And only 7 people in the NBA have ever scored over 30,000 points, and LeBron James is the youngest. In Montclair sports, the Montclair State's men's basketball team was knocked off by Stockton 93-86 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference action. And the Red Hawks will be visiting Ramapo in the NJAC to play tonight, with tip-off scheduled at 7:30. And the Montclair women's basketball team couldn't pull out a win on this one, losing 65-45 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. And they will visit Ramapo in the NJAC tonight as well. Tip-off is scheduled for 5:30 for the Lady Red Hawks. And I've been Alex. This has been Sports.
Go Birds.
Sports.
Go Birds.
And as always, go Birds.
Go birds.
Amen.
Go birds.
Beautiful.
That's
Thank you
next week.
all.
This is this
What a way to kick off our show.
That's basically this week.
That's
Sunday.
Sunday.
big game.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Anyways, we got to get into some really important news, some really interesting news coming out of our very own Montclair State University. The commencement date has officially been announced. For our Red Hawks, it will be on May 23rd, 2023. And here are some words from our president of the university, Jonathan Capel. Take it away.
I wanted to
Capel.
fill you in on our planning for graduation. To me, graduation is one of the most special days of the year for Montclair State University. It's a time where we recognize you for all the hard work that you've done and the achievement that completing your degree represents. And it's a big deal, not just for you, but for your families. So I wanted to create a format which allowed you to bring the whole family together to join in your accomplishment. We're doing it a little differently this year to be responsive to your concerns that the ticketing of the event limited attendance. And we know that the weather is often a big issue. When we have a lightning and rainstorm coming in and we have to cancel, all those family members who came from out of town, they might not be able to adapt as readily as we would hope. So here's what we're doing. We're going to be at the Prudential Center, May 23rd. We're going to have 3 separate ceremonies. The colleges will be paired and we'll have one ceremony in the morning, one in midday, one in the evening. You'll get to hear from university leaders to honor your achievement, and you'll walk across the stage, earn your diploma, and everybody will get to hoot and holler for you. It's a nice balance between the grandiosity of a university ceremony and the intimacy of being gathered together with your own college community. It's an effort to meet you where you wanted to be, and we hope it works out. Can't wait to see you in May.
Thank you so much, Dr. Capel. Before we get into talking about commencement and things, we want to give all of our WMSC seniors who are graduating this May a shout out that includes many of our Buzz hosts, including Amanda Gediosi, Jake Getz, Leslie Gallagher, and our very own Wednesday Buzz crew, Gabi Lutz, and our assistant morning Buzz producer, Victor Municerosa. Shout out to y'all. This is so sad. I don't want to think about y'all graduating right now. So we're going to talk about commencement and just remove y'all from my mind.
Think about y'all graduating, but commencement.
But you guys aren't
You know what's
graduating
so
in my
sad?
head. What's so sad?
An 8:30 a.m. graduation.
Isn't that tragic? Is it? So it's College of the Arts, and what else is paired with you?
I don't
Do you
know.
know?
I think it's like humanities is paired with us. Business. Oh, that's gonna be such a long graduation.
I'm interested in
All
knowing-
the frat boys.
Fun with that at 8:30 in the morning. My main question here is, it sounds like, because he said you're gonna walk across the stage and still get your diploma. So is convocation also just like
Yeah,
just
no, it's
one
literally
ceremony?
just this.
Interesting?
So people can, like the tickets aren't limited like they are for the separate
Mm.
graduations. And there's no MetLife this year. It's
You're right.
just Prudential Center. One day of a lot of graduation.
Interesting.
How do part of me is
how do you feel
cool.
about that?
Part of me is glad that like my graduation's in the morning, so I can just like
Peace out.
peace out. But the other part of me is like, what time do I have to wake up?
Right.
Because like I wake up for this at 5 a.m. and I barely do anything. But waking up for that, like I gotta make myself look fire,
Yeah, girl.
Like people gonna be looking at me walking on the stage.
Mhm.
This is radio. They don't gotta see my face unless you're on Facebook.
But she looks beautiful all the time, every day,
Thanks,
24/7. How do you feel about this new system that President Capel just illustrated for our commencement? Because I remember last year, like he was saying, a lot of students had concerns about having the 2 ceremonies, the commencement and then the convocation, and the issues with the ticketing. Do you think as a senior it's better for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, as a whole, like I am glad that they're doing it all on one day.
Right.
Truly, my only issue with it is the 8:30 thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I'm sure for the people working on it, it's
Mm.
going to be a long day for them, and I do feel bad for them for that.
That's
But
true.
also, like, then people what they normally do is they're like, I don't want to go to the big one. Let me not go to the big one. I'm
That's
just going to go to my
true.
small one, or the opposite. And it's like, why do you have to question which graduation you're going? Just go to your graduation.
Right, because
know?
people are like, oh, it's not really my thing. You don't even get to walk. Because I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
People want to walk if they're going to graduate. And
Mhm.
the problem with commencement as opposed to convocation was that commencement, you kind of were just sitting there for
Yeah.
the big ceremony. And it was a beautiful ceremony. I watched a
Of
good bit of
course.
it. And I just think it wasn't as interactive with the students that they had anticipated and wanted. So I, as a junior going to be a senior, I really appreciate these new changes just because
Yeah.
you just want to have one ceremony and go and not have to come back a month or two later. Imagine people were traveling, they got new jobs, like they're probably not going to go to their convocation. A lot of people
No.
had that issue last year. So I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for this new thing. Victor, do you want to chime in? You're also a senior. How do you feel about this new system?
I'm terrified of graduating and being an adult, but I think this is good. And as Gabby said, I think it's perfect that it's in Prudential Center. MetLife is cool and all, but it's outside. And I don't know about you, but I'm not accustomed to the cold, even though it's gonna be spring and
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot, but I don't know. I like being inside. So Prudential
Yeah,
Center
be inside.
He want that
I
Puerto
like-
Rico heat.
I like that air conditioning.
That's real.
That's where the Devils play,
It
and
is.
that's also where Seton Hall plays, though.
But also,
interesting.
oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But also like my friends can all go, like, like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
I just know from the planning process that there were a lot of people who didn't know that this was happening, and they're like,
that's true.
what do you mean? Like, because I've spoken to some people who should be a part of the planning process for that,
Right.
and they were not, and they were
Informed.
kind of shocked
Mm.
and not super duper happy because they're going to be working it all day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No, for sure. And that's definitely a
But-
communication issue,
Yeah.
like on that level. But overall, I think had it been communicated earlier to those people in like the planning committee, I think this is great, and I hope is very successful come May.
Yeah.
And works for other students,
Mhm.
just because I just find it more beneficial to just have a one and done. Just do the thing, walk on the stage, get your
Exactly.
thing, and wrap it up.
I don't have to sit through in the heat.
You don't, because it's inside, which I didn't know. But good luck finding parking at Prudential Center, y'all.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll all be
Good
there
luck.
before like everybody else, so it's fine.
I'm
On
so
that
excited
note,
to graduate at
we're gonna-
7:30.
That's 7:30 in the morning.
No, PM. If they
Oh.
continue with this, I would be graduating at night, which is an interesting idea.
That is an interesting idea because
I
that
think I'd
ceremony-
rather graduate in the morning.
I think they just change it within every year with how big the schools are, because ours is so early in the morning because we have business school with us, and business school is huge.
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the case for humanities. Is that where psychology is? Because I know psychology is quite
Mhm.
large as well.
Yeah.
Just
Humanity.
like, yeah.
That's where I am too. History.
Oh, I
History?
didn't know that. Wow.
You know what's going down in history?
what is going down in history?
The Turkey earthquake.
Yes, this is a huge thing that's going down in history. You want to talk about it?
Yes, of course. So if you hadn't heard, there was an earthquake in Turkey and it was large. So after an earthquake that shook Turkey, Syria, and neighboring countries, search teams and aid try to find survivors through the remains. Just this morning, the death toll rose to 11,000. Cold temperatures have made it difficult for search teams to dig out through the debris, and more than 8,000 people have been pulled from the rubble, and 380,000 have been placed in refugee camps and government facilities. The earthquake had a magnitude of 7.8 and a multitude of aftershocks. That's a huge earthquake, by the way, in case you didn't know that about earthquakes. 7.8 is big. The shaking tumbled thousands of buildings in Turkey and Syria, and the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, did I do it? Oh,
Yes,
wow. Said 13 million of the country's 85 million people were affected and has declared a state of emergency for 10 provinces. Adelheid Marchang from the World Health Organization said 23 million people could be affected directly and indirectly by the earthquake in its aftermath. That is insane.
Yeah, this is a heartbreaking situation, and I know they're racing against the clock to make sure to get as many survivors as possible, considering the magnitude of this earthquake. And there are also reports of military help coming out of the U.S. to provide support towards Turkey during this time, which I'm really, really grateful for, because for someone to have to handle this magnitude of an earthquake on their own is horrifying. I wouldn't. No one would want to be in this situation, and our hearts
No.
go out to all the families and all the survivors out there during this time, because it's absolutely heartbreaking that this
Mhm.
has to happen.
I
Natural
mean,
disasters are so scary to me.
They are. I mean, and it's so interesting because, like, over here in like New Jersey, we've had like earthquakes that are like magnitude of 3, and we're like, whoa,
Right.
And it's like, and truly like that happens. Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, did you like feel that earthquake? It's so crazy. Like, oh my gosh, it was so scary. And like, they're over there with a 7.8.
Right. And
I can't even imagine.
13 million people being affected as a like in comparison to the 85 million people that live there. That's a huge
That is
statistic.
a large amount of people.
That's when I see things like that, I get so scared in terms of like I always feel like the world is about to end when there's a earthquake of that magnitude. But
Yeah.
also there's so many people, but there's such limited resources in that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Especially like in those countries, like it's not America. Like they don't have the resources like we do. And
Right.
and
I don't
really not good.
truthfully, I don't know if any country would fully be prepared to handle that magnitude of a
No.
disaster.
Right on.
Millions.
No.
We have the San Andreas fault line. They're like predicting that one's 200 years overdue.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Literally could happen.
terrifying, right?
It's so scary. And like I always wonder what can you do when these certain natural disasters are quite literally out of
Exactly.
your control? What more can you do to prepare? And sometimes the hard pill to swallow is that there's not too much
Yeah.
other than making sure you have people on hand. God
Yeah,
forbid if that
ready.
would happen.
Exactly. And hoping that, the surrounding countries that do have those resources and weren't affected would help
Yeah.
in that case. Just like, you might help them if you had the opportunity.
Right. Similar to how the US government is beginning to send aid towards Turkey, which again, very commendable. Makes
Mhm.
sense to do out of the kindness of your heart.
Yes.
But
It does.
as I stated before, our hearts go out to the victims, the survivors of this tragedy, and we will be keeping you updated on any breaking news on that. But on that note, we're going to take a quick break here on the Morning Buzz, and we'll be back with more news.
Give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see it. My administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. But what happened to Tyree and Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border. And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes the national ban, I will veto it. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Will we stand for the defense of democracy? There's no.
Thank you, President Joe Biden, for that State of the Union brought to you by not WMSC, MSNBC. So he covered a lot. He covered a lot in the State of the Union. I want to hear some thoughts from the peanut gallery in the studio today. How are you feeling?
The peanut gallery?
Yeah.
Her. So here's the thing that I feel about when I hear these State of the Union addresses. And I could be wrong, but I do feel as though he's just saying things that people want to hear.
What makes you feel that way?
I don't know. It's just he's literally saying everything. And I was like, woo! Like, where's the action?
I completely
and I know
agree.
that there's so many things, and it's like you can't, put an action in for literally everything all at once. Like that's just not how it works.
Right.
But he mentioned so many things, and I feel like none of those things
have been happening.
Have been working. If anything, some of them got worse.
Right.
How
about everybody else in the room? Ian, Alex, you want to chime in?
I gotta agree with Gabby. It's very much like, guys, let's do this. And he's like, I like the State of the Union. I watched a bit of it last night before I went to slumber, but mostly just like him be like, hey guys, ban assault weapons, guys, let's do this, let's do that. And then it just kind of nothing happens.
Yeah.
And well, he's a politician, but
it just sounded like he's like in a campaign
Right.
to be elected. Like you're already president. Let's do it.
No, he kind of is though, because his term's coming up.
I know.
His term's coming up.
He's
Ian,
not
do you
gonna
have
get
any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about similar to what everybody else is saying, trying to get the people's support for the re-election that will be coming next year, so that people have a positive mindset towards him. And I'm not saying that these things will never happen under his administration, but I'm saying that I think in the time that is left in his term, he will not, I don't think he has the ability to get through everything that he's mentioned, but definitely laying the groundwork for it so that in the case that he doesn't get reelected, the next person to get elected can continue with it.
Right. I agree, because that big emphasis is laying the groundwork and actually putting these things into action, because I agree with Alex and Gabby in saying that it just sounds a lot of words and not a lot of action, especially so close to the end of the president's term. And really frustrates me is that you hear the buzzwords. Like, as somebody who, Gen Z, we're on social media all the time. We know what buzzwords really get people going when it comes to politics, especially working in journalism. And when you hear things about, we're gonna ban assault weapons, we're gonna fix the economy, we're gonna do this, or we're gonna do
We're
that.
gonna make sure Roe v. Wade
Yeah.
isn't like a whole, federal
When
ban.
like at the same time, do I want those things? Yes, absolutely.
I
I
do.
personally want those things. However, you've been in your presidency almost the entire term, and not that much action towards those things has been done. And I want to focus on, for example, the climate crisis. Yes, you're acknowledging the fact that the climate crisis is real. That is phenomenal. But our country could be doing so much more to be sustainable and to semi-reverse. A lot of the damage has already been done, but implementing into our culture more sustainable initiatives so that we as individuals are doing better by our earth.
Yeah.
We haven't been
I
doing
just want to
that.
point out that last night I went to the store and all of my groceries went into my backpack or into a bowl that I had. And that is how New Jersey is helping the climate crisis. Is
Right.
by me suffering without even a paper bag.
Gabby fixed it.
I fixed the climate crisis.
Ozone layer?
Me.
Like that. No more holes.
I saw recently that the ozone layer had been patched or was
I saw it
beginning to.
It was so
did see
like
that.
when they banned a lot of chemicals that were used, like why they say hairspray, as there was a lot of chemicals, and in the 80s the whole entire world came together and banned them, and it's been like the giant hole over the Antarctic has since like shrunk very small.
Yeah, I did hear that.
That's
in
what
other
I
news outlets,
want.
not American news outlets though.
I
They weren't really
want-
talking about it.
More banding together and more
Mhm.
everybody coming into a consensus to make these changes. But speaking specifically to Joe Biden's State of the Union, I'm jaded and I'm tired. Truthfully, I'm jaded and I'm
We
tired.
are tired, America.
I think we're at a spot where we want to have confidence that our world leaders are and our president is going to put these things into action, but there's so many layers to go about it. You have to go through the House and you have to go through the Congress, and people just keep fighting over the things
Yeah.
that the people want. So then we're just stuck in this limbo.
Yeah, and there's so many things that need to get fixed. Just like the judge shortage in New Jersey.
That's so true, because this judge shortage is coming up. So moving on to our next story, New Jersey is suffering from a judge shortage right now. Divorce and civil cases have been halted in 6 New Jersey counties because of judge vacancies. State Supreme Court Justice Stuart Rabner said there are overwhelming vacancies in Hunterdon, Somerset, Warren, Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem counties. Rabner said, quote, "There are simply not enough judges at this time to conduct civil and matrimonial trials in either vicinage. There are 69 vacant positions in the 6 counties. In past years, the courts have operated with an average of 50 vacancies. However, because of COVID-19, many of the cases have been delayed, and there is a substantial increase in the backlog." Rabner also said, quote, "We recognize that when the doors of the courthouse are closed, even partially, people are entitled to their day in court suffer real harm. We therefore respectfully call on the executive and legislative branches to address the current vacancy crisis in vicinage 13 and 15, as well as other parts of the state." I've been hearing a lot of feedback on how this is affecting other people, because it's kind of like petty cases and civil cases, divorce court,
Yeah.
that are being affected, which on the grand scheme of things, it's not crime, right? So it's like, oh, what's the
No.
big deal? However,
But it's still things that need to get solved.
exactly, because when you have a backlog of people who just need to get their divorce finalized, or just civil suits that just need to get wrapped up and handled,
Yeah.
that stuff adds up. The little things always adds up in every
Mhm.
aspect of your life. So the fact that we've increased from having an average of 50 vacancies to 69 vacancies is a little bit of an issue, especially when they're in 6 counties.
I just wanna say that I don't see Camden County on that list.
I guess we got it together. Me and Gab-
Birds, don't-
for context, me and Gabby are from Camden County, and I guess we have
Such an
judges.
We do have
We have judges and we have the Eagles.
we have judges and Eagles. I feel like that's a good
So I guess people who want to get divorced can just go to
just go to Just go to Jalen Hurts
Such
and
an
ask him to do it.
Yeah, not my.
Right.
You could be like,
such an Eagles response. Have you just like in an interview, just like rambling on
I know,
about nothing?
I
Like,
know.
go Birds.
It's just where I'm at right now.
hey,
Anyways,
listen, when Eagles fans speak, it's with nothing but sustenance and
love.
and love. You
In
know
our
what I
hearts.
mean? In our hearts.
Yeah.
Even though there is no love in these divorce cases.
No, there's not, and
happening.
that's where we can help.
We can't help in the love in those situations.
I feel as though judges. I wonder if there's a shortage because the whole system is so annoying.
That's so
And
real.
people are like, nah.
But we're seeing this
You
in
know?
our state constantly. We have the teacher shortage, we have the judge shortage, we have a nursing shortage. There's shortages all over aspects of this state in particular that are so crucial to the functioning of it, which makes it really scary and nerve-wracking of why these judges are leaving or why judges are not going into new positions.
I feel like people just don't want to deal with people anymore.
That
Like,
is so
thanks
real.
to the COVID-19 pandemic, I feel like people just don't want to deal with any more people.
That's true. Why
because
do you
we
think
were-
that is?
We were all in our houses. We enjoyed our own company.
Mm,
And now the company of others is like jarring to some of us.
that's true.
And especially like healthcare workers, because like
Mm,
some of them were losing their lives to this.
right.
Some of them weren't able to be with their families because of this. So now I feel like certain positions, people are looking at them and they're like, man, I can't see my family if I do this.
Right.
Or, oh, people are annoying and they're doing petty little things that I don't want to have to deal with right now.
Yeah.
So all of those important positions, teachers too,
Mhm.
they don't want to deal with your snot-nosed kids. Like,
That's so true. Though.
like,
So real.
and nowadays, kids, because they haven't been exposed to other children, don't know how to act around other children.
Mm,
So it makes teachers' jobs even harder
right.
because they're trying to keep a class together while also facing how literally nobody has been able to communicate well
Yes.
because we haven't been around each other.
Yeah.
So I think people just don't want to deal with people anymore.
That's
And that's
so
why
real.
there's so many vacant positions.
That's so true. And on top of that, it's also common denominator of a lack of a lack of respect for these people who directly serve the community, right? There's been a
Mhm.
common trend of healthcare workers, customer service people, judges, et cetera, that have been disrespected, bullied, all the above for simply doing their job. And I feel like
Yeah.
you said, Adriana, people are tired of it. People
Oh,
are
yeah.
tired of it. And now
They said, I'm sick
I'm sick.
and
like,
I'm tired.
Done.
sick and
I'm
tired.
done with all of you.
And so now when us as in undergrad and when we go to grad school, if you go there and stuff like that, when you see these positions, they don't look appealing anymore. They don't
No.
look appealing because like, oh, this person just isn't having a great time.
And and they do really focus on criminal cases because I had just done jury duty literally over winter break and
What a
every-
great citizen you
I
are.
know all day long in that courthouse. It was awful. But everybody I had talked to that had went up was talking about a criminal case. Like I heard nothing about any civil cases.
Right.
Which like I don't know.
Which makes sense. The criminal cases would take precedent over the civil
Yeah.
case. But like I said, the backlog is the backlog. And how long are we
Mhm.
going to let this go to where we do need to have our branches step in? So hopefully we get more judges in these positions so we can get the ball going on these court cases. And so people can get the justice / divorces they want and deserve, I guess.
Thank you,
But-
judges.
Thank you, judges. And I
Brush
guess
your teeth and thank your
Mhm.
judges. I know.
on that beautiful note, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back so soon. And when we come back, we have more news for you. Shocker. So hang tight.
Not legally in college.
here on the Morning Buzz with more news, more stuff. You know how we do.
You know the voice.
Our next story is another one that's coming out of our very own Montclair State University. Gabi, something's happening at Feliciano, I heard.
It makes sense now why the School of Business is having their graduation with College of the Arts, because they're pairing.
Where we go hand in
with
hand.
College of the Arts. We go hand in hand now because Feliciano School of Business partners with Hawk Plus.
What's Hawk?
What is Hawk Plus, you must say? It is Montclair State's streaming platform. So Feliciano School of Business has officially announced, yes, officially, that they will have their own channel in Hawk Plus, which is our free digital streaming platform operated by the School of Communication and Media. The Feliciano School of Business will offer weekly episodes exploring trending business topics. Feliciano students and faculty will participate in the episodes and will share their own experiences about the school's courses. Dean of Feliciano said, end quote, the valuable video repository will help our stakeholders stay in touch with relevant business topics while exposing and attracting students and partners to our school. End quote. The channel will include shows called Feliciano Insider, Feliciano Advantage, and Feliciano Live. They need to find some different names. Anyway, Director of the School of Communication and Media, Keith Strudler, said, end quote, we are so excited to be partnering with Feliciano School of Business in furthering our collective mission to tell the dynamic stories of our students and faculty using cutting-edge distribution tools. End quote. Look at us partnering with the rest of the school.
I really am actually happy about this just because I thought Hawk Plus was a great idea, and I still think it's a great idea, but it's also amazing to get other colleges involved, especially when you can be offering different types of content to our student community. So this will be really interesting to see. This Feliciano Insider is literally just giving insider, you know what I mean?
And Feliciano, they have a whole marketing team.
Right.
They do. I've met people from it. They literally have a whole marketing team. That's their job. They get paid to do it. So why would you not
show that off?
Use those people that you have hired and be like, hey, let's do something fun and fresh and new.
Right. And
some of them are film majors.
Oh, that's
that
interesting.
work for the school. But you don't have to be in School of Business to work for School of Business. Because it's
just a job. Yeah,
it's a job. So these people, some of them are film majors. So why not use your film majors that you have that are being provided by the school,
right, to contribute towards
contribute to the entire school?
And I feel like it'll be helpful in really helping people who don't know business understand business a little bit better, especially learning from your peers in undergrad. Just because I think when people say, oh, I'm studying business, right, and they don't really know what that means in that aspect, they're like, okay, is it entrepreneurship, is it finance, is it econ, all of those aspects, and to help keep up with current events to coincide with that'd be really helpful. So I think our community would really benefit from this, and so I'm really excited to see what they can put out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Feliciano and Morning Buzz right next to it.
I would like to beg that they get a little more creative with their show names.
Buy, sell. That's what I want. I want just a show where they're screaming buy, sell. Just a bunch of kids in suits yelling. That's the show I want for Hawks.
Buy what? I'm sorry.
Buy stocks.
Oh, buy stocks.
We're just a room of just kids on the stock.
Business students.
Buy. Yeah, let's give them $1,000 and just see what happens.
Throw money at them.
Yeah, just throw just money. That's a show. That's a show right there.
Money at college students. It's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
We just get a room of just business majors and say you need to invest this. We just throw $1,000 of singles just in a pit.
$1,000?
No, see, the point is we would get money from the school.
The school.
It would give me $1,000, not me, but me specifically, and then a separate $1,000. And
Alex,
that's your royalty.
Yeah.
Other for the show.
Yeah, the ideas aren't free.
Right.
So then we just chuck it in a room.
Yeah.
And just watch the kids scramble. And then they invest in stocks and we follow whoever gets the money.
I think you gotta watch this Feliciano Insider to work on your business model a little bit. And then we can
and then we can talk about it.
We can revisit this at a later date. I think the
I think you've got
skeleton.
something.
We got there's something cooking.
He certainly is cooking.
There's something in the pressure cooker.
He's cooking. It might be packaged ramen, but he's cooking. I swear.
The gerbil in my head is running a little faster
Yeah, I
today.
think I'm seeing smoke.
It's definitely burning. It's going. You can hear it. You can hear the wheel squeaking.
Yeah.
It needs to be oiled.
No,
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely
for
needs to be oiled.
So while we let Alex cook,
It's ramen.
we're gonna let him cook, and then we're gonna go into our next thing to talk about. But it's not news; it's our favorite segment. Why? Because we love our love doctor.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Seasons of love.
Oh my God, we're pitching. Yeah. Oh, she's going up. Yep.
Ooh.
Hit it,
Okay,
girl.
harmonies.
She's holding on to that theater kid inside of her.
Oh yes, I am.
Anyways, I'm throwing it to Ian Love. Tell us what's going on in this theater world.
Oh, I would be so glad to. Welcome to Seasons of Ian Love, the best of the weekly news shows about theater news in New York. So let's start with shows that are opening. Off Broadway, opening on February 14th, Valentine's Day, we have Cornelia Street at the Atlantic Theater Company, Stage 2, with the book by Simon Stevens, music and lyrics by Mark Eitzel, and directed by Anil Pepe. I'll say Pepe, with the cast featuring Georgia Budd, Norbert Leo Butz, Esteban Andre Cruz, and more. The story follows a backstreet in the West Village where a man named Jacob Towney tries to save the restaurant that he has in the backstreet and also try to give his daughter the life he always dreamed that she could have. But his place, the restaurant he owns, is kind of a home for the odd ghosts of the village. It is out of place, out of time, and it's running out of his luck. On Broadway, we finally have a show opening on Broadway to talk about. We have Pictures from Home opening at the Studio 54 on February 9th, starring Nathan Lane, Danny Burstein, and Zoe Wanamaker. Some of these are very known names. Nathan Lane from a lot of things, including Lion King, I believe, and Danny Burstein, who just won the Tony a couple years back for Moulin Rouge. It was written by Char White, and the original photo memoir is by Larry Sultan. And the director is Bartlett Sher, and it's about this autobiographical photo memoir by Larry Sultan that is adapted by Char White, and it tracks a mother, father, and a son who photograph their lives as they journey from Brooklyn to the San Fernando Valley. As for shows that are sadly closing, off Broadway, we have a couple. We have Kate at the Connolly Theater. It is written by Kate Berlant and directed by Beau Berlant. The cast includes Kate Berlant, and in her acclaimed one-woman show, Kate Berlant explores the events of her life that have brought her to this moment. She embodies many characters in this performance and expertly morphs before our eyes and exposes the truth that she has kept hidden until now. We also have closing Great Expectations at the Greenwich House Theater, written, of course, by Charles Dickens, but the adaptation is by Mark Izzard, directed by Selina Cade II, and the cast includes none other than Annie Izzard. And it, of course, as a lot of people might know, tells the story of an English orphan, Pip, who rises to wealth, but deserts his true friends and becomes humbled by his own arrogance. On Broadway, we are seeing the closing of the collaboration at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater, written by Anthony McCartan, directed by Juan Amar. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. The cast includes Paul Bettany, Jeremy Pope, Krista Rodriguez, and Eric Jensen. And the story tells of two classic artists, Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat, and it's their polar opposites, and it is their collaboration, as the title might suggest. As for new casting additions within New York, on February 7th at Moulin Rouge, we saw Andre Ward and David Harris joining the cast as Toulouse-Lautrec and the Duke of Monmouth, respectively.
You said that so nicely.
Bonjour.
I was like, oh, you're French, honey.
I didn't take 4 years of French in high school
Bonjour.
for nothing. And what's interesting to me is that Ward replaced Sar Ngauja, who was the original Toulouse, who left the show on February 5th, and remained the only original cast member who had not left at any point up until that moment. Because, of course, Aaron Tveit, the original Christian, had come back, but he had left at a certain point. Sar stayed in the show the entire time until he left recently. As for shows that have been announced recently, we just got confirmation that they are making a musical based on the 2016 hit movie musical will be coming to Broadway, featuring songs with music by Justin Hurwitz and lyrics by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, who you might know from Greatest Showman or Dear Evan Hansen. And the new adaptation for Broadway set to be directed by Bartlett Sher, with the book being penned by Ayad Akhtar and Matthew Decker. As for general theater news from this past week, the show Bad Cinderella, Andrew Lloyd Webber, which has had bad press ever since it's been announced, just got some more after they announced that they are going to be doing NFTs for their show, which didn't know that we still were focusing on that as a society, but okay. The show has released the first of a group of NFTs that will apparently unlock special access to content. Thankfully, these NFTs are free, so you're not going to have to dish out thousands of dollars for them. But apparently, if fans collect all different NFTs from the group, then they'll be entered in a contest to win autographed merchandise. This is the latest in a series of trying to merge Broadway into the digital market, and they are available on the website bwayx.com. Next up, we have a new movie musical film based on the show Girl from the North Country, which is a Bob Dylan jukebox musical that was just on Broadway recently, has announced some of the cast, including Olivia Colman, Chloe Bailey, Tosin Cole, and Woody Harrelson. Connor McPherson, who penned the script and also directed the musical itself, is also going to be directing and writing the film. Next up, at the Grammys this past Sunday, Into the Woods won the award for the Best Musical Cast Album. The other nominees in this category were Six, live on opening night, The Strange Loop Broadway Cast Album, MJ the Musical, Mr. Saturday Night, and Carolina or Change. Although Stephen Sondheim passed away in late 2021, his legacy lives on with such accolades as this. And we're going to talk more about this later, but just a brief mention, in the latest in a series of lies, George Santos is claimed to produce or help produce the musical Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which he did not. The show that opened in 2011 starred Reeve Carney and Patrick Page as the dynamic foes of Spider-Man and Doc Ock. Not Doc Ock, Green Goblin, years before their run on Hadestown. And other Broadway actors have gotten in on the fun, joking about starring in a George Santos TV show or musical. So I'm going to turn it on you guys, see some discussions. One of the big things that I want to talk about was almost redundancy in shows, because looking at the Grammy Awards, none of the albums that were nominated featured anything new, because Into the Woods was a revival, Carolina or Change was a revival, MJ the Musical is a jukebox musical, as I believe is Mr. Saturday Night. I could be wrong on that, though. But then Six, live on opening night, there was already a Six album from the London production. This was just the first night on Broadway. They recorded it and released it. And similarly with Strange Loop, they released a concept album back a couple years ago. This was just the Broadway version. So nothing necessarily new, I believe, that we heard.
I think the newest thing on there would have been Strange Loop.
Mhm.
Did they end up winning?
They did not.
Who ended up winning?
Into the Woods. Into the Woods one.
That's what
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods. That's
Which is fair though, because it was very good production.
I'm just a crazy fan of Into the Woods, but I can acknowledge the fact that it was a good production. But
It was
I-
camp.
yeah, it was campy. It was very campy, actually. And I think Broadway's fell into this cycle of redundancy, and we just haven't had anything fresh and new in so long. Strange Loop was kind of our new thing, but now
And now it's gone.
now it's gone. So now we're just kind of waiting. And I kind of wanted to circle back to this whole Bad Cinderella doing NFTs thing really quick because
That was my next question.
The
Thoughts
one
on
we-
shows doing exclusive digital or physical marketing?
What is
Non-crushable tokens. Let's go.
literally had a visceral reaction when you had said that, because I have been following the Bad Cinderella bad press since it
Mhm.
happened on the West End.
I'm not sure.
Horrible.
Good Cinderella.
It's not
Sorry. Like horrible show in my opinion. Sorry, Andrew. I'm so sorry.
No,
No,
I'm not.
don't apologize to Andrew. Do not.
Not
Yeah, not after
an
what you
Andrew Lloyd
treated-
Webber fan. We've had this
Right.
conversation.
You're gonna
I'll
treat
say it
my
again.
Carrie Hope Fletcher wrong like that?
Mhm.
That's so disrespectful. You know what? I am rescinding my apology. But but NFTs, seriously,
That's
that
where
is
we're
such
at
a
right
cop
now.
out. That is
I
such a
haven't
cop
heard
out.
about NFTs in months. Like there was a big boom and then
And it
it
was like,
dropped
gone.
and I'm like, okay, thankfully we have moved past
I've
that.
never
And now
fully
here's
learned
Andrew
what it
Lloyd Webber coming back and be like, hey guys, remember this? We're
Right.
back at it.
I never even fully learned what an NFT was. That's how quickly it
And
came.
it's a picture that you have a link that
It's
you buy a link to.
non-fungible.
It's literally
It's
a
a non-fungible.
Pokemon card.
I
But you
love it.
can't even hold it.
Even hold
It
it.
takes away one of the coolest aspects. And then also you
Of
can't play
a
games
Pokemon
with
card.
it.
It's a tragedy. It is a true tragedy. And I get so mad.
Can I write a poem about the tragedy of Bad Cinderella, and I'll come back and read it next week.
I'm gonna be honest,
Yes.
because it's Bad Cinderella. I'm gonna be so sick. I don't want
It's
to.
gonna be about the tragedy. of
Okay.
Bad Cinderella.
I want to be captivated
I
Didn't
will.
they
because
know-
the show doesn't
I
captivate
will
me.
positively, absolutely. It'll be brilliant. Promise.
I hope so. I hope and I pray, because there's nothing on the face of this earth that will save this show, and I'm gonna say it right now. There's nothing. It's not gonna be saved.
It's me. I'm
And
right here.
NFT, you're thinking that's gonna be like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get all the finance bros in
No.
on Broadway. No,
Finance bros are not going to go see this show. Let's be
not.
real.
For that show.
for that show, they're
Come
gonna
on.
see Phantom before that. If Cats was here, they were gonna see Cats before that. Like,
Mhm.
truthfully, what is going on? For the rest of the stuff, I've like, typical updates and stuff like that. I wasn't that jarred by it, but Bad Cinderella just keeps coming up, and I keep getting more mad. So yeah,
I'm still thinking about MJ the musical.
what was
That man
I heard it
really
was
does
pretty
it
good.
for me, guys.
Oh,
I don't know
Miles
what
Frost?
it is.
Because he was he had presented stuff at the Grammys, right?
Mhm.
As well. Did you see how he presented
phenomenal.
everybody else's award, and then he got to Harry Styles and he was like, Harry Styles.
No, I didn't.
That
see
was-
Oh wait, I did see that. Who
Harry
was
Styles
that?
had
Miles
so much
Frost
hate
who
at the
did
Grammys,
that.
Was that Miles
but I feel like
Frost?
that's something we got.
That's true. We'll talk about that later. But overall, this was a great, beautiful segment as per usual.
Thank
Ian
you.
Love.
I mean,
Thank you.
I'm now a proud owner of a Bad Cinderella
No.
NFT.
Did you just get one while we were talking
And
about this?
It was hard, guys. Like I had to go through like 3 loops of signing in my email. But now I want the signed merchandise. It's free.
Merch.
Okay.
If I have anything
the
that has
Grim-
an Andrew Lloyd Webber signature on it,
I'll
going
bring it
to-
in. I will bring it in and frame it, and it'll hang forever.
and I will burn it.
So
Yeah.
real and so true. Oh wait, before we move on, I do need to acknowledge this La La Land coming to Broadway thing. I forgot to say that.
Oh,
What?
that's
I've never
kinda
seen
lit.
the movie, but I've heard it's really good.
It's
good.
beautiful. It's a beautiful.
Today's
movie.
your
The end
day.
of The end of
I
the
will.
movie was so bittersweet. I loved it.
Yeah,
I
like,
love bittersweet
Today
endings
is
though,
your
because
day.
not everything can be happy.
Yeah.
that's true. And I feel like it was ambiguous enough to where if you wanted to live in delusion for a little bit, you could. You could.
Oh yeah.
If you wanted to think it was a happy ending, you were able to. But I'm
Mhm.
really excited for this to come to Broadway just because I'm curious to see how they're going to adapt this to stage, especially
Well,
when think about the opening scene with everybody's dancing on the
Mhm.
cars and things.
Bum, bum, bum,
Uh-huh.
I'm so curious to how they're going to execute that. But overall, I'm kind of excited for Broadway, but I'm also scared for Broadway because
it's a moment.
Broadway's having a moment right now.
It's the moment.
It's the moment, but I don't think it's the
Ryan
best moment.
Gosling's gonna get on stage and go. La, la, la,
Do you think
Definitely
they'll cast
a
people
moment.
from the movie?
la, la,
No, I don't think so.
I hope. I would. Part of me was like hoping.
Well, now I have to ask Dreamcast who would we want to play the roles. Aaron Tveit, Derek Klena.
100%. Just call it a day.
Danny DeVito.
Jeremy Jordan.
Danny DeVito. I feel
He's done it. He's been on Broadway. He could do it.
he has been on Broadway. Can I have like a hot take for a second?
Yeah.
I think we need a new Broadway boy.
We do. I agree.
I think we
Okay.
need a new Broadway boy.
Antonio
Jack
Cipriano.
Sampson.
Yes.
Oh.
Did you say Jack Sampson?
Yeah, can we play him next?
Mr. Sampson.
Mr. Sandman.
No, Sampson.
I was
Bring me your
close.
dreams.
But
Bum,
Antonio
bum, bum,
Cipriano
bum,
is a
bum,
very, very good
bum,
choice.
bum.
And there's this
Mhm.
other person that I can't think of the name of right now. But we need some new Broadway boys. I mean,
Mhm.
our favorites, I love
I'll
them
put my
so
I'll
much.
throw my hat in the ring.
They're getting a little wrinkly. You know what I mean? You-
Sorry, besties.
They're getting a little
Just
old and a
shut off
little
the light.
wrinkly. But you know what? Here on
You're
90.3,
wrinkly.
I'm not wrinkly. How would you say that?
Because I could say that about you here on WMSC Upper Montclair.
You just wanted the end to say the top of the hour.
really
She's
did.
so fake.
I
You
am.
know what?
No,
While
I'm actually the realist.
we're gonna debate this while we go on break. So when we come back, we got some more fun stories coming for our second hour, and we'll be right back.
We're in the midst of catching the wild red hawk Rocky. Rocky's a big one. You're one step ahead of him. The only thing
Because we're back.
So much.
You missed me?
I missed you so much.
Oh my God, so sweet.
I
We are back here on the Morning Buzz on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And we're in our second hour. And when we start a new hour here on the Morning Buzz, we have to start with our news update. So Adriana, take it away, please.
Good morning. I'm Adriana Teles, and this is WMSC News. After the U.S. destroyed the suspected spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean on Saturday, China declined Washington's request for a secure call between Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and his counterpart, National Defense Minister Wei Feng. The aim of the call, it appears, was to ratchet down tensions and open further avenues for dialogue after the spy balloon saga in an effort to responsibly manage the relationship between the U.S. and the People's Republic of China, or PRC. Last year, New Jersey recorded the first year-over-year decrease in fatal drug overdoses in at least a decade, state records show. Some 2,890 people are suspected to have died from drug use in 2022, according to the Office of Chief State Medical Examiner, down from 3,124 the previous year. It's the first time the death toll dipped below 3,000 in 5 years. Another 230 likely died this way in January, the data shows. Patterson police officer Jerry Moravec was charged by state authorities for shooting unarmed 28-year-old Khalif Cooper in the back. Now, the weather outside is currently 35 degrees and sunny with a high of 50 degrees and about a 10% chance of rain. So wear a jacket, it's cold. For WMSC News, I'm Adriana Teles.
Beautiful, beautiful newscast,
You're so-
Adriana. Here for her buzz debut. Thank you so much. I'm going to throw it to the one, the only, the sportsman.
The
What?
brains and the brawn of the
The
situation.
sports. Yes, we have great sports today. I'm Alex Braun, and I'm here for your sports. In hockey, the New York Rangers will be facing the Vancouver Canucks tonight at 8 p.m., and the New Jersey Devils will be going to Seattle to face the Kraken at 7 p.m. tomorrow. In basketball, last night, the New York Knicks beat the Orlando Magic 102-98, but sadly, the Brooklyn Nets cannot do the same in their game, losing 116-112 against the Phoenix Suns. And LeBron James, with 10.9 seconds left in the third quarter, James snagged a setback jumper from the left elbow, scoring his 36th point of the game, scoring 38,388th career point, surpassing the record of six-time NBA MVP Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who held the record for 39 years. Just great. Congrats, LeBron. In Montclair news, and the Montclair State men's basketball team got knocked off by Stockton 93-86 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. The Red Hawks visit Ramapo in the NJAC and play tonight with tip-off scheduled for 7:30 p.m. In Montclair State women's basketball, team also fell off to Stockton 65-45 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference, and they will visit Ramapo as well in the NJAC. They will play tonight, and tip-off is scheduled at 5:30 p.m. I've been Alex, and this has been Sports.
Thank you so much, sportsman.
Sports.
I'm so
Sorry, I just
grateful
really
for
had to get that
I'm
out.
so grateful for sports. Go Birds. Anyways,
Birds.
moving on to our second favorite segment of the week. We are talking Montclair Confessions. Disclaimer, these stories are not our own personal stories. That would be tragic, but these stories are from anonymous people who have submitted to the Instagram account Montclair State Confessions. So we're going to read a couple recent confessions from this page. So our first one today is such. There's this one idiot in my hallway who keeps stealing everybody's door decks, and I'm sick of it. Do you not have nothing better to do with your life than take stuff from our doors? Get a life. Listen, this is really triggering to me as an RA, and I know my boss is listening to me right now. If someone took my door decks, I would cry. I'd be so upset. Has
Show me.
anyone taken y'all's door decks before?
No.
I've been given door decks before.
You've been given them
Well,
as nice
we
little
have-
trinkets and
I-
gifts.
Well, no, like our hall, somebody had a doormat or something,
Mhm.
and there was a month where every day somebody new had the doormat. It just kept on revolving around different doors. The one day I was out front of our door, and I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
Oh,
where did
and
this
I love
doormat
that.
come
See,
from?
that's funny.
Interesting.
But see, here's the thing: is
This
like,
is referencing the door tags, like the name tags on
Yeah.
the door. If you don't know
Oh.
what a door deck is.
I know how much you RAs work on your decorations.
We do.
and I know because I've witnessed it, and it's
Thank you.
a lot.
I feel seen.
You're welcome. You guys really do put a lot of work into it because you got to do it for all your residents.
Yeah.
and it's hard work, you know, and it takes time and effort. So please
I really like my
respect
doors.
your RAs.
Respect your community.
Respect the community.
everyone. No,
Amen. Tell him, Alex.
I love my door decks. So sadly, I just I get a new my RA is awesome
Oh, that's sweet.
because she'll make 3 throughout the semester,
Mhm.
and I really like them and I want to keep them, but I'm scared that other people are gonna take them. Hasn't happened before, but I've had a past experience where people have taken my door deck.
Yeah, I don't understand what people gain from that. Like, it's not even your name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lame.
why do you
What are you
want
gonna
it?
do
they
this
claim
for?
it as a trophy.
They do.
It's a trinket. It's
So I
proof
put
they
mine
stole.
on the back of the door, and I put the bland one, the one that's just Red Hawk, and I
Mm,
put that one on my door. But
so you keep the nice one.
yeah, I got a snowflake, I got a pumpkin, and now I have a vinyl.
That's cool.
I have a vinyl too.
I
Shout out to your
I
RA.
want fun
Where you
new
live?
door decks.
Where do you live?
What building you live on?
I live in
They're
Blanton.
like
Oh, never mind.
figure out if they're
Never mind.
neighbors or not.
I know
That
people who like save all their door decks from every year of college, every
I'm trying to
semester
do
of
that.
college, and they like put it in like a scrapbook.
I don't know
cute.
where our door decks go because we're not given them. One day I just show up and all of a sudden it's a different thing. And I don't know what
Yeah.
the previous one is.
Because we
What's
take the
going
time to
on?
just put them up for you. But if you don't take it home,
That's why I say
then
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you gotta save them. That's why you gotta save them. But we're gonna move on to our next one. Gabby, do you want to read one?
Yes. Okay. This one is anyone else tired of a roommate who doesn't talk and does nothing but take up space?
It's a little scathing.
That's a little
Whoa.
mean.
Facts.
That's a little.
No,
It's a little
this is
rough.
dead true. I had a roommate.
Alex wrote this capturing that.
No.
Oh, elaborate a little bit.
I would have wrote this freshman year. My freshman year roommate, literally, I would walk in. He would be sitting at his desk, either doing homework or playing Minecraft on his Xbox. He has literally, he would just sit there and do random stuff
Mhm.
and like not talk to me. I would say hi, he would say hi, and I would just go on my phone and also watch like funny YouTube shorts on full volume because he annoyed me.
That's so sad for you.
Why?
You're
Why is that
like,
sad?
he annoyed me.
He annoyed me because he
I-
did nothing.
I do understand. I've had roommates that have been my like best friends for like almost all of college except for this current semester. And I understand like sometimes when you're home, you want that time where like it's you and not like 100 billion people. But it's not always the case scenario, whereas sometimes it is the case scenario. And you know, right now, like I know my roommate spends a lot of time in because they're new, they don't have many friends yet. And sometimes it's like, hey bud, you want to
Okay.
go like take a
Go fly a kite
walk-
or something? You wanna-
go fly a kite,
Yeah, I don't know.
throw a disc.
I mean, frisbee. If you
Um,
cut yourself, you may need Neosporin or
No,
a
you
You
Band-Aid.
need disinfectant.
an ointment and a bandage.
Okay.
So
Oh, he
A
says
piece of
ointment
bandage.
and a piece of bandage.
bandage. So
A
I don't
fine
know about
stick.
you, but I'm feeling 22 and I hate that I just quoted Taylor Swift. So yeah, I get it. I get it how it's frustrating. And sometimes you want to have that space to yourself because you're always out and about. And sometimes you need the alone time. And they're
Right.
always getting the alone time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And I'm gonna RA again. I have to. It's in my heart.
She
But
RAs all
I
the
do,
time.
like,
Can't turn it off.
Then again,
I
she's
can
not
see-
my RA, but we use her like she's our RA.
Yeah, that part too. But also, if you're gonna live on campus, you have to kind of understand that you're gonna live with people with from different walks of life, and some people are more introverted, some people are more extroverted. You're not gonna be bestie boos with your roommate. Sorry about it. That's just the reality of
But
it.
I have the best time when my bestie boo is in the room.
No, it's
Yeah, except if
when
you're
you
me.
have bestie boo roommates, but sometimes that's just not the reality.
That's so sad.
And in that case, you just need to make sure you're respecting each other's spaces and just living cohesively.
I remember my ex-boyfriend freshman year, he was always in his room. And I felt and then I would go over because he was my boyfriend. And I felt so bad for his roommate. I really did. And my ex-boyfriend's side of the room really smelled too. So well, it made the whole room
Mm.
smell. But
yucky.
Can't.
we made bad decisions freshman year.
Yeah.
It's okay, but I always felt really bad for his roommate because I was
Okay.
like, this man can never just come home and there not be my boyfriend
Yeah.
and me.
Yeah, that's rough.
But my boyfriend wouldn't leave the room. That's the thing, is like he wouldn't come to my room.
Why?
I don't know. It like he rarely ever came to my room
that's the
because he
weird-
wanted to play video games,
Oh,
and then I had to just sit there watching TV.
that's rough, girl. I'm so glad the word X is in front of. the-
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Oh, yeah,
That's
that
real
didn't last
growth.
long.
But on that note, we have an exciting interview to be set up very, very soon. So we're going to take a quick break to get set up for that, but you can't find out until you come back. So hang with us for a little bit longer and we'll be back.
It's a great question. Even interview. And
for you.
Joe Neers.
Welcome back to the Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Remember that tiny little interview thing I was telling you about? It's now happening. It's happening right now. And I told you.
Super cool interview.
I told you if you stayed with us, I would tell you what it was. And we are here in studio with the president and the treasurer of the Student Government Association. Our president, Richard Steiner O2, and our new treasurer, Cameron Wade, are here with us to talk about what's going on in the SGA this spring semester. Richard, Cameron, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, doing well. Thank you.
Amazing.
And might I just say,
yeah,
the fits are on point today. You're going with the fit.
Thank you.
Cameron,
repping the
go
birds.
Go Birds. Go Birds. Eagles sweatshirt, by the way.
We love it. We love the energy in the studio. So to preface this, I do have some bias in this interview. I'm the director of student affairs. I'm in this man's cabinet right here.
Oh, so you just know everything.
I don't know about everything.
You know everything.
This is the guy who knows everything, but I am
So
a little
you know
lefty.
everything.
Terry has a lot going on. She does a lot.
Yeah, truthfully, we got a lot going on, but I'm really excited to talk about Richard, Cameron. What are SGA's plans for this spring semester? What have y'all been up to since the start of it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like we definitely had a lot of changes more related to our registered student organizations. We're really happy to say that we have over 100 student organizations right now, which is a big increase from last year's 60. So we're seeing a lot more people want to create organizations, do things on campus, and create little communities. So that in itself is really exciting. We made a couple changes that Cam can kind of go into to make their lives easier with a lot of different changes that are going on over the past couple of years.
Yeah, so we've been trying to really focus on our financial policies first off to really help our registered student organizations just have better resources and a better understanding of those policies and everything like that. But also on the financial aspect, we had to propose a new budget. So we've been working on a lot of resources and different things for not only our registered student organizations, but just for SGA as a whole to leave it better for next year.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Cameron, you're new as a treasurer this semester. How has that transition been for you? How's it going? Do you feel confident in your new role?
You know, it was a process. But I feel really good now. It's funny, I just said to Richard, I think a few weeks ago, I finally feel like I found my footing and I feel really good.
Amazing.
It's a big role and a lot to come into, but I really love it and I feel really good going into the spring with it.
Right.
That's always a great feeling.
Right. And for our people who don't really know what the role of a treasurer entails, because I feel like people don't know how much goes into being the money lady of an entire association.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit of what your day-to-day looks like.
So a lot of my day-to-day is really just looking over the financial standpoint of our incorporation. So seeing how we're doing in our budget, making sure that we're keeping track of who's spending what. So a lot of that is we do supplemental and publicity requests and different things like that. So going through those requests, going through paperwork. I work very close with our bookkeeper, Pam. She's awesome. She is one of the backbones of the SGA. And also a lot of my job, I feel like, is also just meeting with the RSOs. That's been a big thing for me, is just making myself a resource where if you have an event coming up, let's sit down, let's plan it out together and make sure everybody feels comfortable going forward. But I feel like a lot of it, we've also been able to just incorporate really cool side projects such as NACA. We're sending 6 representatives to a leadership conference with the executive board in March.
Right.
So that's really great. And we're really excited to be able to offer that opportunity to our leaders and help them in that area as well. So I feel like really just the SGA e-board as a whole is like our positions, but also taking on side projects on the side to really help enhance SGA and the student body.
Yeah, that's amazing. Commendable stuff.
For
Absolutely. We got a lot going on for the SGA.
Yeah. So, let's talk about SGA real quick. So as you said, there's a whole bunch of new organizations that have joined the SGA. So for those who do not know, what does the SGA provide for those new organizations that join you guys?
That's a great question. So as you said, we register student organizations, and that allows you to book spaces on campus and to basically hold events, hold general body meetings. And that's something that we do. You get your engage page so that students can see and you have that sort of visibility. But going beyond that, we also, of course, fund all of these organizations. So that's something that we do. And that's something that Cam was just talking about, which is a big portion of what she does, working with them to make sure that they have everything in check so that they can get their funds as well. So that's a big portion of it, but just providing resources on how to plan an event or how to get engagement or how to get more people engaged with your organization. So it kind of does a lot, but we try and find new ways to give resources and help as best as we can.
And that's great because, there's so many people who are so passionate about things and they want to
Mm-hmm.
share their passions with other people, but they don't know how to do it. So it's so great that you guys are able to, provide that space for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been me being a part of it as well is been the most rewarding aspect is just providing spaces and resources and community for our students. So that aspect is always going to be the most rewarding part. And going off of that, since it is Black History Month and we have a lot of diverse RSOs on campus, does the SGA have any diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives in the realm for Black History Month? How do you connect with your diverse orgs and E3 and et cetera, et cetera?
So I think that this year we really worked hard to just ask, like, what do you guys need in terms of just RSOs? Because we have a lot of multicultural organizations as well as Black organizations on campus, just asking, like, what do you need? Because this is a month where they mostly do the most programming. You see amazing, massive events that bring in students from all sectors of campus, which is really awesome. And it's a time to really celebrate just Black history, of course, but just like Black excellence.
Absolutely.
And this semester alone, we've really seen them I've seen all of our RSOs thrive, particularly those that are a part of E3. And it's been really amazing to see us help them and to give assistance in terms of organizing the programming and just helping in whatever ways we can.
Right.
So that's something in itself that's great. But on our end, we are planning a couple of different things, like working to actually create an annual award that honors a student who's turning this campus into more of an inclusive and diverse campus. So that's something that we're really excited to do and roll out by the end of this month to like I said, honor that student and also build that awareness of, like, this is something that people are working on and doing on our campus to provide a more comfortable space for all of our students.
And that's awesome, because I know, like, the president has said in different meetings that, like, he does want the diversity to just keep growing and expanding. So that's awesome. Do you have any events that have stuck in your mind that are happening this month for Black History Month?
Yes, there are actually quite a few events. So as I mentioned, all the Black and Brown organizations, this is a high month for programming. So you could go ahead and check Engage, but organizations like the Haitian Student Union, I know, had an event yesterday. GBMs alone, but going beyond that, like yesterday was the BSU GBM that I went to, but I know there's Ebony Ball at the end of the month, which is the biggest celebration. It actually was created by all of the Black and Brown orgs on campus to celebrate this month in Black history, which is actually, when you look into the story, it's really amazing how it's created. That's something that every single Black and Brown organization on campus actually co-sponsors with, so they could all pull together and celebrate together. So that's something that I know a lot of people are excited about. There's something going on almost every single day this month, so I really encourage you to check out Engage.
That sounds like a great way to end the month and a great month ahead of us.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I have a couple more questions before we wrap. One, what resources do you wish students knew more about that were offered by the SGA?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, we offer feminine hygiene products as well as free condoms in our office. We also give out free coffee just for any student who wants to come and stop by and talk to us, of course. So that's just a couple of things that we offer. But this year, we're actually really excited to be also starting a new initiative to help students with food insecurities. So we've been working with the Dean's Office and the Director of Dining Services to create a meal voucher plans for students who quite literally don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Wow.
So that's students who either live on campus or live off campus, particularly those who oftentimes are in the Village or in Hawks Crossings. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. So that's something that we're really proud to get started.
Yeah.
When can students expect to see that?
So that's something that's actually going to be starting within the next 2 weeks. So you'll see some more information about that pretty soon.
Amazing.
And that's great, especially since like as you said, Hawks in the Village, like some people don't get their meal plans, and because they're like, oh, I live in this apartment, and then they don't have enough money to go buy groceries.
Yep,
And they're like,
exactly.
what do I do? So that's great.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
great thing to have.
Food
people.
insecurity is a national issue, and the
100%.
fact that we're tackling it in such a big way through our own roles is so commendable. So shout out to you all for developing that initiative. My final question is, what do you hope our students learn from SGA? What do you hope that they take away from all of our efforts to make a stronger community?
I would say my goal and hope is that they take away that, first off, we truly care about the student body and want to see it grow and thrive. But also that really we're here as a resource. It's funny, like we talk about resources. I think we don't always promote ourselves as resources, especially as the executive board. We're here, like anybody could stop in anytime if you have an issue. You don't have to be from an RSO. You don't have to be from SGA leadership. anybody can come in and just express an issue or anything like that. So
Mhm.
my goal and hope is just that the student body can really see us as a resource and as a voice for them to help
Yeah.
bring concerns up, since we are fortunate enough to sometimes get a bigger audience with the president, with the vice presidents, the
Right.
deans, and different things. So we really are happy to advocate and bring things up. We just want the student body to come talk to us.
That sounds great. You know,
Incredible.
I know it's always great for people to have resources like that.
Yeah, and we are very grateful for the work that you're putting towards our
Mhm.
campus life. Thank you so, so much, Richard and Cameron,
Yes, thank you,
president
guys.
and treasurer, for being here today on the Morning
Thank
Buzz.
you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
coming on.
much. We wish you well for the rest of the semester. On that note, we're going to take the shortest break ever. Please don't miss us too much. And when we come back, we have some more fun stories for you. Hang tight.
I hope the bomb lands in my bed while I'm dreaming about the week.
Don't you love a little bit of country
I
love?
felt like that was a bluegrass moment right
A
there.
little bit of a bluegrass
I was
moment.
loving it.
Left you hanging for a little bit, didn't we? Anyways, we're back here on the Morning Buzz on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and we're getting into like the funky stories,
We're getting into the nitty
the
gritty
nitty gritty of the world, I guess.
of the
Not
George
really.
Santos.
Not really, because we're starting off with George Santos.
I feel like that's pretty nitty gritty.
I guess when you lie that often, I guess there's a
it's
lot to
very-
unpack here. So the next up in the roster of George Santos's lies is that lies is that he faked being a producer for a Spider-Man musical. So the George Santos telenovela continues. When you thought New York Representative George Santos would stop making stories up, more stories seem to come to the limelight. So one of the stories is Santos's being a producer for the short-lived Spider-Man Broadway musical Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Lead producer of the musical, Michael Cole, denied Santos's involvement, saying through an assistant that Santos wasn't a producer on the musical. Santos's name wasn't even in the Spider-Man playbills. According to Bloomberg, while the musical was on Broadway, Santos was living in Queens, working in a call center, and creating a charity to help sick animals. The charity is now being investigated for fraud.
No way.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was a musical that had advanced stunts and music by Bono, but received bad reviews and a number of performers with severe injuries. Why would Santos want to be associated with a badly reviewed Broadway show? I have no idea. Why not have a better lie and say you were the producer of Hamilton or Lion King or Aladdin or, you know,
Beetlejuice.
or how about Crazy? Tell the truth.
No,
Huh?
that's.
That makes a
What
little
does
bit
this
more
game
sense.
I wonder if he's doing it now just for the fun of it.
I really
Because
my goodness.
everybody's talking about it. He's probably like, let me give them another lie.
I mean, it is truly. I feel like Ian, you can feel me when I say this. It's truly, you're a different breed when you're flexing that you were producer, quote unquote, on Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. You're gonna claim that
You really want to claim that?
with your chest. You're gonna sit there and claim that and lie about
Okay,
it.
so then let's give him all the lawsuits.
Yeah, there's so much odd about this musical. So I was just looking it up because I'm trying to see. It lasted 3 years on Broadway.
Yeah.
Which in
Really?
today's
People did
standards,
like it. Like that's
I liked
true.
it. It was my
People
first
liked
ever Broadway show.
Yeah,
Man,
people
too.
liked it because they had something to take their kids to.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
fun was
I
so
like that too.
great.
It was a little bit ahead of its time because, fun fact, the song Radioactive by Imagine Dragons was initially written as a pitch for the Spider-Man musical because they were set to write the music for it.
No
But then after it went to
way.
Bono and the Edge, they repurposed it into their lead singles, what I heard,
Oh,
That's so cool.
which I think is pretty cool.
Thing.
Also, like I mentioned earlier, it saw Patrick Page and Reeve Carney facing off against each other almost a decade before we'd see them in Hadestown as Orpheus and Hades.
foreshadowing.
I think it's really cool.
Hades.
Okay, when you
Same
from that angle, I do think it's pretty cool. I think it
Some
would
of
have
the
been pretty
music goes
cool.
hard.
But
That's true.
Still,
I think it would have been pretty cool for George had he told the truth. You know,
George
Like,
Santos is a
if he
Spider-Man the musical
actually did-
enjoyer.
you know what?
I-
At this
I
point, he
don't-
should have just said he was
I
Spider-Man.
physically think he's got some kind of mental illness where he just can't stop lying.
Like a pathological liar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like worse.
I don't know what
He's
would be
taking
worse.
Because why are you making it like the most outlandish lies?
Truthfully, and like I know I'm not gonna sit here and diagnose the man, but like I strongly encourage a doctor because what? Because what?
I strongly encourage a mental hospital.
like,
Cause what?
I truthfully don't understand. And I keep thinking back to when there was this TikTok circling around and someone had bum rushed him in an office and was like, "Have you seen the new season of Drag Race?" And his eyes lit up and he was like, "No, I haven't seen it." But like people knew he probably did see it because it was that controversy of him being a drag queen that was
Yeah.
coming out and things like that. And I'm just like, babe, there's no way someone mentions Drag Race and you light up in such a way.
No,
You've seen it.
I have
You-
not seen it.
No, like you're lying. You're lying again. And you continue to lie.
I'm shocked he didn't go. Yeah, I know RuPaul.
Yeah.
RuPaul and I go way
He's
back.
like, yeah, I'm like in it too. I'm a judge.
Yeah, they asked me to be guest judge the one time, but I said I can't. I have politics stuff to do.
You know,
I have
being a-
Spider-Man the musical to produce things.
Yeah, like it's incredible. I don't understand how this man has a seat in politics and has lied. Like
That's the thing. He's a politician.
is
Great.
Politicians are liars. That's what they
Yeah,
do.
is he lying about that too?
Yeah.
It's just a regular dude that he's just lying about
Literally
everything.
is. That's exactly.
like at this point, I just feel like this dude has finessed so hard to
Honestly,
the point.
Gotta respect that.
Dude,
To a degree. To a degree. To
Poli-
a degree.
First off, politicians are good liars.
I don't know if it's messed up to agree with you.
But like, if this whole thing is a sham and he's gotten this far just off lying, that gives me like Frank Abagnale Jr. vibes.
Elaborate for the people who don't know what that is.
Frank
Okay.
Abagnale Jr. was a con man from the 1960s who cashed fake checks and would rewrite. He was a Pan Am pilot for a bit. He was a
Leonardo
doctor,
DiCaprio.
a lawyer. I'm getting all this from the musical,
A
by
jack
the way.
of all trades, I see.
A jack of all trades, but he
You mean
would
George
make
Santos.
he would make fake licenses and such for all
You know-
these different
you know,
personalities. and such.
George Santos wrote that musical that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, 100.
Catch me if you
Yeah,
can.
it's right
Catch
before,
me- you ever heard of Catch Me If You
and he
Can?
knows Leonardo DiCaprio, who starred in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
best
of
buds.
these are true things. They're not. This is a bit. This is
It's a
bit.
bit.
This
This
is
is very
very
much
much
a
laugh,
bit.
audience. Anyways.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Nobody can believe anything that we say about George Santos because, well, George Santos
Because
is
I don't even think George
Santos-
We
Santos.
can't even believe it.
your real name. Is that even your age? Is that
That's his
even your
pen name.
face? That's how I feel about George
That's
Santos.
his pseudonym.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
just like that.
Just like that. That's
Just
not
like
weird.
Just like that.
You learned a new word today.
Thank you.
I feel like you don't believe me. I'm not George, you know.
I don't know. How do I know you're not George? How do I know you're not George wearing a mask playing
don't-
Terry? The world is a lie.
getting
Everything is
really
a lie. And
overwhelmed.
I am not dead.
Oh my god, that was
You're not.
such an interesting transition.
But wasn't that so good?
I was.
Did you know?
Did you know Gabby's not dead? She's here and she's talking about
You
the
know
next
who else
story.
isn't dead? An 82-year-old woman.
My grandma. Okay. What about her?
So there's an 82-year-old woman that was pronounced dead in Long Island, New York.
Oh.
And then she was found alive. So
Oh.
the woman was pronounced dead Saturday at 11:15 at Water's Edge Rehab and Nursing Center. And while being taken to the funeral home, she was found breathing at 2:49 p.m. That woman was sleeping.
in the body bag.
After she was found alive, she was taken immediately to the hospital. The New York Department of Health is investigating what happened and why she was pronounced dead. New York Attorney General office said, and quote, "This is an awful situation that caused unnecessary trauma for the impacted resident and her loved ones," end quote. A similar incident was reported in Iowa where a 66-year-old woman was found breathing in a body bag in December.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh,
cannot
That's my biggest
imagine.
fear. Wait, can we just talk about that real quick? Like, that's one of my biggest fears is like I quote unquote die, and then they're taking me and like they're doing the funeral and they're closing the casket and I'm like, wait, like that's my biggest fear.
Like you can't move or like speak. You're like
Yeah.
conscious, but they can't tell.
Yeah.
Is that- or
like in a coma or something.
Oh,
imagine-
that's horrible.
Biggest fear ever.
Imagine how the people at the morgue must feel. They just get this body bag, and then the next thing they know, it starts breathing and sits up.
I
would
quit my
pass
job.
out.
I quit my job.
Yeah,
Quit
that's
my job.
I feel like that's a reasonable reaction.
You know the people who do the makeup for on the
Uh-huh.
on the what is it, mortician?
Yeah, if you start doing like the makeup and then they open their eyes.
That's the wrong shade of yellow.
You know red washes me out.
How dare you?
Oh my god. I don't
Why
know.
would you put blue eyeshadow on me? Is this the 80s?
I think I'd be the one in a body bag at that point.
No,
because I just
seriously. And I want to understand, right? Because this woman died. This woman died for how long? Unsure. How long was your
But
body
was she
pronounced dead?
actually dead?
Maybe she was just
Maybe
taking
her
a
heart
nap.
just skipped a beat, you know? She was like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, and her heart skipped a beat.
So her heart skipped a beat and she stayed asleep while people
She took a nap.
she took a nap
Took
in
a
the
nap.
body bag.
You know, sometimes when you're napping, like your breathing really slows down. Maybe her breathing got so slow that they thought she was dead.
But people are picking you up. And like
Okay,
I don't
maybe
know-
she's a heavy
Maybe
sleeper.
maybe she was
like that.
dreaming,
Maybe
no?
you
She's
really
a
need
heavy
to sleep and
sleeper.
you just
Maybe she was dreaming that
blocked
she was
out.
like
How can sleep for you to be transported
Yeah.
From one place.
Look, I can fall asleep anywhere and everywhere for as long as I need to.
You're telling it like so you're asleep, right? And like people pick you up
Uh-huh.
and put you in a bag.
Uh-huh.
And
The
like,
dream. The dream. If I could,
There are actually like certain countries where they teach you how to slow down your breathing and stop your heart rate to like
To go to
escape
sleep?
to escape intruders. Like if somebody is going to kill you, that's actually a tactic.
playing possum.
Yeah, like playing dead is actually taught in places. So maybe this woman's heart rate got so low that it stopped her pulse for a few minutes. They were like, "Oh man, she's dead." And then she's
Dang.
like, "Nah, just
She's
kidding.
Dead.
Not just kidding.
oh man.
Here we go again.
Dead. She's done." No, she was just
My
sleeping
worry is
really
that,
hard.
like, she was sleep real hard, or like, but what if her brain was being deprived of oxygen for such a long period of time?
Well, yeah, in that body bag, she probably was.
Yeah, but like before the body bag too, if she's sitting here arms across her chest,
Maybe her body
going
just was
night-night,
able to do it. She built different.
she surely is at her big age.
The way that you just responded with that, just like I don't know why,
Rose from the dead.
took me out.
I know one guy who did that.
Well, so did a
Jesus.
66-year-old apparently.
So I'm just sitting here like, wow.
Oh, I was like,
They gotta-
Jesus. I know Jesus did do that, didn't he? I thought you were just like saying it as like an exclamation, like Jesus.
No, it was a comma.
Yeah.
It was a comma.
They gotta
Jesus.
bring back the Bell method.
I
What
thought
they-
you were gonna say
What's
bring
the
back
Bell method?
Jesus.
well,
Bring back Jesus. No,
well,
what's the
so
bell method?
back in the 1800s, the only way that they could tell if you were dead or not is by your breathing and not your pulse. So they would, if you by accidentally were buried alive, there was a little bell string. There was a bell at the top of your grave, and then
And
a
the
string.
you pull it.
And if you're still alive, the guy who's walking, the undertaker that's walking around, will hear the bell, and you'll be like, "Oh snap, he's still alive! And we gotta get him out of there."
We should bring back the bell.
I say we just give
That would
every
cure all my fears.
coffin or casket that we bury a supply of air and a bell just in case.
A couple hours.
Just a
Yeah.
couple hours.
Give him like a little oxygen tank.
like a little free trial
Like
at
you might be
meeting
taking
God.
you might be taking a nap. So let me know
Right.
in the
like,
next 3 hours.
Yeah, you tell
Look.
me what the maker said, and then you come back. But ring the bell when you come back.
Yeah,
Like-
and then we'll be there for you.
Right.
Put that in my will. I want the bell and I want an oxygen tank.
Think about like how like the family will never, when she actually passes, the family's gonna be like, "You're kidding again. We know." and
my
then
God.
She does this all the time.
they do this every year.
Crying wolf. Oh my, imagine crying wolf for death. I mean, people do that.
Some people,
I
well,
don't know. Some people
well-
has faked their death before.
I mean, can you
So.
blame them?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
not
Michael Jackson.
Tupac.
oh my God, you did not bring Tupac.
That is a theory, though.
That is a theory. I don't know. Maybe
Buzz theory.
a
You think so?
buzz
You think-
theory.
Have you met him in Cuba?
Of course
Cuba.
I did. Tupac is in Cuba.
Okay,
Cuba.
George Santos.
Okay.
Okay, okay,
She
George,
She's my best friend.
that's my dad.
We have
actually.
George Santos and Tupac in the room
And-
right
and it's
now.
an exclusive interview.
I'm just kidding. But am I? I don't know.
You're lying.
Are you kidding?
Our
Or you
audience,
just-
we're just, they're not going to trust
you
us
said
anymore.
it.
They're never gonna trust us ever again.
Man, I
I'm
swear.
so sorry. It's like George Santos syndrome.
Don't do this. We can make him a mental illness. Oh
He has
no,
mental illness, low.
Santa syndrome.
Is
That's
George
what I
Santos going to be the hyperfixation of Wednesday Buzz for the semester?
Yes,
Oh, I don't know.
I
if
hope
3
so.
weeks running.
it is 3 weeks.
Well, because
Talk about
yeah. Can we get George Santos on
The bus.
No. We could lie that George Santos is on the bus before.
and say we had an interview with him?
Oh my April Fool's.
Not on April Fool's Day though, because then that would be a truth.
That,
That would be a truth.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Gotta make it a lie.
April 1st is a Saturday.
That's
Aw.
my second.
That's a Sunday.
I feel like we've confused our listeners. No,
Okay,
no saving.
let's bring it back. We have something.
Let's reel it
that's-
back in.
That's real and true and has happened, even though it's really strange. So, remember when Elon Musk sent a card to space? You ever wonder what happened to it?
No.
I didn't know this happened, if we're being honest.
Well,
What?
I thought that was a joke. I thought that was like a photoshopped image.
That was a real thing. I watched it.
Did it drive? Did the gravity
We're gonna
take it
see
or not
this.
anti-gravity?
Houston, we have an answer here. After 5 years in space, the Tesla Roadster has completed about 3 1/4 loops around the sun, y'all, and is about
There's
200
no way.
there's complete way, and there's about 203 million miles from Earth, according to whereisroadster.com. The car has logged more than 2.5 billion miles in space, but it is certain that it is not certain the condition of the car. The cherry red Roadster may have been obliterated by a meteor by now, eroded by radiation, or if you believe in that third kind of alien things, an alien might have taken it for a spin.
I'm pretty
But
sure that's the answer.
I think that might be the answer. But overall, the car was out there. She's doing her little spins and
She's
things.
doing
but
her
we don't know.
2.5 billion miles. That's a lot of miles on a car.
That's a lot of miles. I hope she's okay.
Tesla really doing that
Good thing
thing.
it's a Tesla. It did not have to get its oil changed or something.
That's
True.
true. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
How was it
I wasn't
charging
clear
itself?
Why they put the car like 5 years ago? What they were using the car as like weight for the rocket. You know, the rocket needed some weight to get up, and then they let the car fly in space, and the rocket went up. It was like the first rocket SpaceX launched, and it was like it's also a publicity stunt in a way. So
I have a question.
Aerodynamics by Victor.
How do they charge the Tesla?
it's flying straight.
I don't think it's implied that it's
How do they
on.
charge it,
I
though?
think it's just circling.
I don't
So
think they
she's
need
gonna
to charge
fly.
it because Newton's laws of gravity, an object in motion stays in
Yes,
motion
yeah.
unless acted upon by an external force. In space where there's a vacuum of air,
Gabby, we don't claim that R. Kelly stuff no more. Don't be singing that in my studio.
Sorry.
It's Black History Month.
No,
Come
we
on
can't.
now.
in an excess in a space ballistic space where there is no air, an absence of a vacuum, there's
air,
nothing to
no
resist it. So you push it one direction, it'll just continuously move.
There's no air. There's also no road, so there is nothing to be driven on.
But like, there's nothing to stop it from just to.
Who's driving it?
Yeah.
How are the aliens driving it? Let me know.
Yeah. Explain that.
Okay. Okay. Can you explain?
How do you
the
know they
whole
have technology? How do you know they're not just living off the land?
thing involving aliens doesn't make sense in general? Like
What?
anything is game,
Any
Your game.
game is game.
and any game is game. So,
Game
like,
is game.
game.
Gotta respect
What do you
game.
think an alien would look
Yeah.
like?
Okay.
I think they'd be pretty.
You
I think it would be pretty.
I have a feeling that they're gonna look like. I have a feeling aliens would look like avatars, like just really
Mm.
giant,
But blue.
beautiful, majestic creatures.
I-
Because I don't want to live in a world where there are ugly aliens, like what's known in the media, like those weird looking lanky green things.
Mm.
I think they should be beautiful blue avatars.
But what if that's beautiful to them?
But I
Should we
think that they
discriminate?
look like Appa from Avatar.
That's adorable. I love that idea.
Well, Katy Perry said you can't call them aliens. You gotta call them extraterrestrial.
That's true. Katy Perry did say that. I think.
E.T.
Phone home.
Oh my goodness.
Jinx, you owe me a
Well,
call.
I feel like if
You,
ET can
you
ride
owe
a
me a
bike,
Coke. You know I was gonna say that.
I feel like if ET can ride a bike, they can figure out how
You
to
didn't ride the bike.
He kind of did.
No, he sat in the basket and the kid rode the bike.
He made it go
The
up.
kid rode the bike.
Okay, but
With the power of love.
He said, and that John went,
okay, it went up, but the kid, he didn't even have to pedal. He was pedaling for fun.
how do you know?
There is no way.
You
you're
don't
gonna
know what
tell
he
me.
got. You don't know what he got.
He has nothing.
He was doing it to catch air, dude. It's flying. You gotta catch air.
He's catching the air with his.
No,
little
no, no,
thingy.
no.
Yes.
You know how like airplanes get in the air because they have to catch the air.
Planes are
It's-
planes. Bikes are bikes.
That's
And
what you-
bikes don't go in the air.
That's what you think.
She's like allegedly.
Allegedly, they don't go in the air, but I think they go in the air.
You know what? Speaking of the air, we
It's another reason.
we can have another reason to hate the airport.
Why do we hate the airport?
I don't know. You
I
tell
don't know.
me.
I kind of like the airport.
I don't know.
They have
Victor
nice
hates it.
food.
I
Victor
hate
hates the airport.
So
Why
for
do you
me,
hate
this
the
is
airport?
another reason
I
to
love
hate
the
it.
airport.
Getting into a plane, it gives me anxiety. It's not like because of the height. It's just that I don't like, because it's like I'm poor, so I'm an economy. I'm a big guy, so like I'm very uncomfortable most of the time. It's like a 5-hour flight from.
Yeah,
Puerto
but that's
Rico to
the
New York.
plane, not the port.
I mean, Gabi, please let me speak. So like So I find airplanes annoying. So that's why I hate the airport
Okay.
and the airlines and everything. I hate TSA. I hate everything. I
Okay.
hate everything about the airport. It bothers me.
I hate TSA
So
as
keep
well.
on with the story.
TSA and luggage claim are the worst.
That's fair. That's
So obviously, as Victor just said, there's nothing more stressful than going to the airport. So imagine this couple surprised when they lost their luggage on a flight from Montreal and found out their luggage was donated. A Canadian couple spent months looking for their lost luggage after taking a flight from Air Canada. And with the help of the police and an Apple AirTag, they found their belongings. However, not in the place they expected. Air Canada took their luggages and gave it to charity. Air Canada responded to the situation. Wow, I cannot speak today. Quote, this customer traveled late in the summer at a time where all carriers in Canada were still recovering from COVID-19 related systemic, wow, see, I can't speak, disruption of the entire air transport industry. One consequence was an elevated rate of baggage delays, end quote. The couple received $2,300 compensation, but they say is only a third of the value of what was inside the luggage. What if you had your great grandmother's necklace in that suitcase?
Where I come from, that's too bad.
Too bad, so sad.
Too bad, so sad. Suck
Is
to
it?
suck? I guess.
You're too bad, so sad.
No.
Yeah.
Have any of you had your luggage lost at an airport before?
My brother did when we went to Austria over the summer. We were going to see him and his fiance perform in a symphony, and they lost his trombone because it never made it onto the plane.
Bone.
That's literally the whole point.
The whole point we went. They never put it on the plane, so they had to ship it out at the earliest possible convenience,
Did it
and it was
get
a whole
there on
hassle. It did, luckily, because we had about a day of buffer before the first performance.
That's good. But how do you lose an entire trombone? That thing's huge. That thing is large.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I'm sorry that happened to him.
That's so frustrating.
It definitely is frustrating.
Wow,
Very first time I ever went on a cruise with my family.
Mm-hmm.
It was my first time having my own luggage because I have sisters and we usually share luggage. But they were like, nah, Adriana, you get your own luggage. I
Wow.
was so excited.
A luxury.
I had my own bag. I was sitting there. I was waiting. I was so excited to pick it up off the belt. It never came. I was 10 years old looking for my red Mickey Mouse luggage.
Oh,
I was crying. I was like, where is this luggage? It had my Crocs in it.
Yeah.
The Crocs were lost. And then we were gonna miss getting on the boat.
That's a tragedy.
And then the airline, they were like, oh, we're so sorry. It fell off on the tarmac. I was like, you left my luggage on the
No.
tarmac. I thought I wasn't gonna have clothes. My Crocs, my sky blue Crocs
I'm so
with a little
sorry.
light up gibbet.
That's trauma.
I was going
That's
to
a commodity.
cry.
That's a hot commodity that you had, and you lost.
I
I'm so
know.
sorry.
It was on the tarmac
Did you get
for
it
a
back?
for a solid 3 hours. It was sitting on the tarmac. It was like,
Did
really?
they send it with the next plane?
They did not, luckily,
Mm.
but they were like, we found it. It's here.
Okay.
What did you wear for your vacation?
I literally wore my mom's clothes. My mom and I were sharing clothes that
Oh my
trip.
goodness.
You couldn't even pop off.
I
as a
couldn't
10-year-old.
pop off.
I'm at 10 years
I
old.
was wearing
You think you pop off as a 10-year-old?
I was wearing my mom's clothes, my mom's little high-heeled sandals that I could barely walk in, and I just wanted my Crocs.
I'm so
Aw.
sorry. We gotta
That's
do
the
better
worst.
reports. We gotta do better. We gotta keep track of people's luggages, and we can go on and on and on. But unfortunately, it's actually 9:01. We gave you an extra minute, y'all.
Wow.
It's
That hour
9:01.
went quick.
It did here on WMSC Upper Montclair, but this is the end of our day on the Morning Buzz.
I
But
know you're so sad.
we're here Monday through Friday. But if you like us specifically, we'll be back next week. Don't worry.
We'll be
So, on that note, I've been your host, Terry Dickerson, followed by my co-host, Gabi Lutz,
You're
our wonderful newscaster, Adriana. I can't say your last name. Teles. So sorry. Our
Telephone.
sportscaster, Alex Braun, and our segment host, Ian Love. We'll catch you next week with the same stuff. More
Yeah.
news, more everything, more goofiness because we're crazy. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.